That here at E3 2012. Delighted to be here with Glenn and Matt to show us Sly Cooper Thieves in Time.
Yeah. Great to be here, thank you.
Great to be here.
That's all. Having a good E3?
Oh,
Great
it's
E3.
awesome. Yeah, starting to run out of voice. How about you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Starting to get my Mustang Sally going.
Not as bad as Carlos. He's doing the live cam around the place. He sounds like he's been smoking cigarettes and cigars all week.
Stogies, yeah.
He's like Clint Eastwood
Look,
or something.
He's getting into the El Jefe there.
It's wonderful.
It's all good.
So, Sly Cooper, this is 4, I guess.
Yes,
Except
Sly
without the
Cooper
number
Thieves
4
in
on it.
Time, the 4th installment in the awesome Sly Cooper series for the PlayStation. And we're going to be coming out this fall on both the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Vita.
Yeah.
So day and date, it's really cool. You know, you'll be able to play the game. You get, sort of halfway through it. You know, you save up into the cloud and you can pick it up where you left off on your lunch break with your Vita, and then back again.
He's got a Vita. Look at it.
Behold.
I got a Vita.
Incredible.
The great thing with the Vita version is, we do cloud saves. So you can be playing it on the Vita, push it up to the cloud, and then continue the adventure on the PlayStation 3. And that also works the other way. You could be sitting on the couch, playing the game on the PS3, push it up to the cloud, hop on the bus, continue the adventure on the Vita.
Is that those are 2 separate purchases, I'm assuming?
Well, we're not really having
Or
an
is
announcement on how that's going to work just yet, but stay tuned.
It's an
More
interesting
info
space, that
coming.
whole thing, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of it going on right now, and people
Yeah.
are trying to test the water out to see.
But I love the the idea of just play anywhere. It's like the one experience that just can flow in and out of your life. Because I mean, I look at how I'm playing games these days, and then I have a job. I'm not at college anymore, drinking beer on the couch, all day. And so, in the evening you might be playing, in your living room, but then, during the day you're thinking about the game. You're thinking about, oh yeah, I wanted to figure out how to get that, and but then you can just pick it up, and I really love that, the way that it can flow in and out of where gamers are at, in their lives.
and the different gamers play in different ways as well, depending on age and whatnot. And with a game like this, which has a sort of a broad appeal as well,
It really does.
you guys have to be very conscious of that.
That's something we talk about a lot, is just that broad appeal. People look at Sly Cooper and they're like, oh, it's a cartoon game, this is a kid's game, but it's really not. I mean, Sly Cooper is a game for everybody. It has such varied gameplay types. You could be driving, you could be on a stealth mission, you could be doing some Bentley hacking games. There's just so much variety to it and challenge. So.
Cool. Just to remind folks, we're taking questions. If you're on Twitter, use hashtag GameSpotE3. If you're watching on the GameSpot website, use the form underneath it. And if you're on the Twitch chat and you're not ranting weird things at me because I'm reading them, I will answer your question as well. Yeah, most of this is not safe for work stuff. Let's have a look at the gameplay. Can you guys explain what's going on here?
Well, right now we're in the medieval England hub, and this is where you've traveled back in time to meet your medieval English ancestor, Sir Galleth Cooper. And so you actually get to play as him. Whenever you come back to a different time period and you meet your ancestor, he becomes a playable character in the game. So that just, adds to the variety. There's a lot of different characters that you get to play as. Of course, there's the Cooper gang, the original, Sly, Bentley, and Murray. But that really expands with the addition of the ancestors, and then also Carmelita.
So in terms of narrative and whatnot, this is the 4th in the series, but it doesn't have the number 4 on it. Are you guys conscious of the fact that you're trying to get new people involved into the franchise?
Yeah,
and I guess to pose the opposite question, what's in it for people who are fans of the series?
Well, yeah, definitely. That's been our approach. We really want to introduce a new generation to the Sly Cooper series.
It's been a while since the last one came out.
Yeah, exactly.
2006
September will be the 10th anniversary of
my
the original Sly Cooper.
Wow.
Yeah.
Decade. Yeah, so the idea there, introduce a new generation, but make sure that, if you love playing them on the PlayStation 2, we brought them over with the Sly collection, to upgrade them into HD TVs and 3D and so on. And yeah, just continue that experience. I mean, if you looked at the characters side by side, comparing them, they're quite different. But what I love to hear from people is like, this feels like a Sly Cooper game. Like I feel, the visuals are just the evolution of where it would head. So that makes us feel real good.
I got a question here from the GameSpot stage while MLG goes insane behind me from Anthony, who's asked, have you refined the game to make it? How do you refine the game to make it feel fresh while also maintaining its original feel?
It's a difficult balance, because you're looking at a franchise, that people have a lot of nostalgia with. They have 3 games they know and love, and it's also on a new console. So there's expectations. You know, it needs to feel like the old games, but it also needs to evolve enough that, you know, it looks and feels like a PlayStation 3 or a Vita game. So keeping that balance is really important to us. And when we go to shows, you know, like E3, it's great when we're doing interviews and stuff and people are playing the game and they're like, dude, this is great. This feels like what I remember Sly Cooper playing like. It looks great on the PlayStation 3 and the Vita, and that's the best thing we could hear.
Got some great comments, and we're actually getting a ton of questions here. People are obviously
I can
incredibly
only imagine they're going to be like, here's the top questions. Where's Clockwork? How many ancestors are in the game?
All right, and make up your own questions, and you got to give answers to them.
No, we got to hear.
We're not going to answer those.
Okay.
Not today.
I got one here from Manjo0 who said, or well, something like that. Hey mate, I'm 30 and I love the look of this game. Children's games are more like COD. So there you go. Not really a question. Another one here. How many hub worlds and how big is the game in comparison to other Sly games?
Well, we're not talking about the exact number of hub worlds right now. We've introduced feudal Japan and also medieval England. But I would say in terms of gameplay, and when we initially managed to persuade Sony that it would be a great idea for our studio to work on the project, something that we looked at was on Sly 2 and 3, just the volume of variety of gameplay, and it was almost a daunting task. Where
you look at the old games, you know, as a game developer, and it's, you know, like Glenn said, it's a daunting task because you have all these different playable characters, you have all these different modes of play. You know, you're driving, you're doing these epic boss battles, you're doing these hacking games. You know, it's not just a rinse and repeat first-person shooter. You know, walk into a space, kill a bunch of guys, watch a cinematic, and move forward. So, you know, I'm really happy where we are now. You know, that was a couple of years ago when we were looking at the old games from the collection. And you know, we've had the game together for a long time. I mean, the past couple months, I think February, January, we've had the entire game from A to B playable. And to be where we are now, to be able to play through the whole game and identify areas that need more work or need more polish, and just to have that time has really been a luxury.
How important is that for a platforming game? Because when you're hanging a game on maybe a single mechanic, it's easy just to pepper dash in levels and whatnot. But with something like this, the entire pacing and feel of it is so important. So
we have this huge Excel sheet from the beginning to the end of the game, and we basically break down all the percentages of like who you're playing as and what mechanics you're playing as when, and we just try to even it out as best as possible. The other thing we do is we do a bunch of extensive focus testing with Sony. Sony is just fantastic to work with because they just have all these facilities. You know, they want to make it the best game possible. And, you know, we're always doing focus testing and getting people in playing the game.
Awesome. Just to get a couple more questions from the guys watching. Question on the PlayStation Vita, how are the rear and front touchpads used? And that's from Ostrato.
We use the, you know, we use functionality for the Vita where it fits. You know, we're not like just cramming in all this functionality just to get it in there. If it fits and it's fun for the game and it works, you know, we'll add it in there. In terms of the back touchscreen, you can see with hopefully Kaylee Roberts here, our wonderful producer, we'll press down on the left stick and you'll see the little navigation arrow come out. Yep, right there. If you tap the back screen, that'll pull out the navigation on the Vita.
And another question here. Not Quite a Ninja has asked, like the look of this game, was curious if there will be replay value such as New Game Plus or incentive to beat the game multiple times. Thanks, love the Sly series.
That's a great question.
Cutting questions here.
Yeah, there's a number of collectible items in the game. We have the 30 bottles in each hub world. Collect all 30 bottles and you'll unlock the safe. The safe gives you a permanent upgrade for every character that you get to play as. We also have treasures. In all the hub worlds, we have these treasures that you can throw on your back. If you get damaged, you'll lose the treasure. If you collect all the treasures in the hub world, something really cool gets unlocked. Something that we're not talking about today, but it's really cool. And then we have a third collectible, which is new to the series, which are these secret Sly masks. And they are hidden everywhere throughout the game. They're hidden in the hubs. They're hidden in the mini games. They're hidden in what we like to call a spoke, which you're looking at here. And some of them are really, really tricky to get. I'm talking like old school style, shooting an invisible box that opens some little portal that goes somewhere else. You know, we're gamers at Sanzara Games. We love playing those old games. We just like playing everything. So you know, to bring those little secrets and goodies back, you know, it's been a lot of fun.
And another good example of replayability. So, for instance, as you go through each time period, Sly will actually get a costume, and that costume will afford him a new ability. And those costumes will move back and forth through time with you. And so you'll see things in other areas, but you're like, how do I get up there? Or how do I access that? And then later you get the costume, and you'll be like, oh wait, I can, for instance, shoot an arrow right up there, and then I could get over there, and then I could collect that I can see. So just layering that in, there's just so much variety inside the game. And it depends on how you want to play it. So if somebody just wants to power through and just play the story mode, there's an awesome story which just takes a lot of twists and turns that we really can't wait for people to check out.
Yeah. Speaking of the costumes, you know, like Glenn said, every time period has its own costume. So you'll be in feudal Japan and you'll see all these buckets all over with these arrows, but you can't do anything with it yet. You know, it's similar to like old school, you're playing Metroid and you get the super missiles, and all of a sudden you see all these doors and this light bulb goes off in your head, and you're like, you know, do I want to move forward with the story, or do I want to go back and unlock all these things? And a lot of those puzzles are multi-layered, meaning you're going to need multiple costumes to get through some of those puzzles. And I love those little light bulb moments, you know, where people have those options. Yes. You know, you know, do you want to move the story forward, or you want to go back and get those collectibles?
Guess it's such an important part of platforming games as well.
Yep.
Guys, I'd love to have you on a bit more, but we got to keep on pressing. There's just too many games at E3. When can folks get the game, and on what platforms?
It's going to be coming out this fall for both the PlayStation 3 and also the PlayStation Vita.
Awesome. Thanks very much, guys. That was Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. And now we're going to shoot off, I believe, to Carlos. E3 is a lot more than just games, so we're going to have a look at Into the Pixel and video game art.